Hi everyone, welcome to day 3 of the Toddler Play Conference. I am so excited to be with you again, bringing you a workshop and a time of question and answers, just to kind of wrap up the day, or for some of you it's leading into the day, depending on where you are in your time zone. So if you are with me, as always, would you just give me a thumbs up to say, yes, we hear you, we see you, and everything's working fine. It really gives me a bit of peace of mind that I'm not speaking without anyone hearing me or speaking on mute or anything like that. So today we are doing a little workshop on play foam. So I made a little one to come and bring to you guys. Of course, the lighting here is always like a little bit off, but you can see even from the side, it's just super exciting. This is like a rainbow colored one, and you can see also by the texture of it, it's so fun and bubbly. So we're going to be talking about how to make this today. Hi. I wonder how to say your name. Cindy, is it Cindy? Cindy? But anyway, welcome, Cindy. Thank you so much for leaving a comment so I know that you can see me. Okay, so we're going to be talking first of all about how to make these foam, this play foam. And I wanted to remind you that oh, great, I got it right. Thanks, Cindy. I wanted to remind you that in your swag bag, those printables, I think they're also like there's a place for you to download them in your emails. There's a recipe for this, so you can just print out that recipe and have it on hand. But basically, what you're going to need is half a cup of water and some soap. So we have, one of my kids has pretty sensitive skin, so we use the bath soap that they use already, but you can really use any soap that you have, and you just need to put it in some kind of a blender or a handheld mixer and just mix it all up, and you'll see very quickly, and I never knew until I had children that soap and water actually does this when it's like mixed like this. It turns into this beautiful, cloudy, soft, delicious foam. And then you can add a little bit of color in each of them. I did mine today quite strong, just because I wanted it to be able to be seen with the strong light on it. But you just need a little bit of color to kind of give it a pop. And I've also done here like multiple colors. You really don't need to do multiple colors, like 1 or 2 colors is perfectly fine. And in this one, normally I say use the oil-based coloring, but actually in this foam, the water-based food coloring that like where we are, this is the one that you would just pick up at the normal like grocery store. That one does just perfectly in the foam, and also it leaves less of a color compared to the oil one. So I use the oil, and you can see it's a tad on my skin. Now, if you're worried about sensitive skin, you also don't have to use color at all, because the foam is pretty inviting and exciting, like clouds without color at all. But you can also use natural colorings. You could use instead of just water and the soap, you can use a bit of like a herbal tea. Like I've got one here that I won't be able to show you because it's too full, but it actually is like quite purple. Or you can use, if you put purple cabbage into water and get just like that coloring from the cabbage, you could use that as well to just color it if you're worried about sensitive skin. We've also done cocoa before. My son wanted to play with this with like his dump trucks and his construction vehicles, so we just added like I think half a teaspoon of cocoa, and it made it all, the color spreads really easily because it's foam. The other option, if you are concerned about like stuff touching their skin, if you have, my son had really bad eczema when he was young, so this is like something that I really, really understand. You can use these. I would love to know from wherever you are in the world what you call these beans. So I call them chickpeas or hummus, but I've heard people call them garbanzo beans. So I don't know. Can you guys see the can? What do you call them where you are? These it's called aquafaba. You basically take the water from the beans that are in the can and strain out the beans, use them for salad or stew or whatever you want them for, and then take that water, it's normally like a little bit yellow, and do the exact same process, just like blend it up, and it makes a beautiful foam. And I will say that the aquafaba, so this one with these, the liquid with this, it also lasts pretty long, whereas the foam will probably go down in like an hour or two. But chickpeas or garbanzo beans here in Texas. Great, that's good to know. The aquafaba, I've had it out for like 4 or 5 hours and it's still been like really frothy and foamy and beautiful. Chickpeas or garbanzo as well. Great, guys. So at least where there's no like language barrier here, you all understand what I'm saying with these beans. But this is a really great option if you are worried about any skin sensitivities, because it's a natural product. And you can also then add color into that as well. It's really, really beautiful. So that's how you make it. But now, how do you use it? So I've got a whole collection of things here. And again, like what I want you to think about when you're inviting your child into this kind of exploratory, like them leading the way kind of play, is hold very loosely the idea of what play should be. So often we have, even when we don't like think of it, we've seen some like something on Pinterest or on Instagram of the way that a child is playing with this sensory product and or sensory material, and we're like, okay, well, that's how it should be. So I would say, like, especially with toddlers, we want to hold that idea very loosely, because their idea might be different, especially according to the play schema that they are working through, which we're going to be talking more about tomorrow. But these are some ideas that you can put out with the foam that naturally lend themselves to all kinds of different actions and explorations. So we like these ice trays. You can use any ice tray that you have. As you can see, we've like had paint with these and all kinds of things. These kind of funnels. The foam, basically think of whatever you have in your kitchen that will do super well with the foam. These kind of kitchen tools as well, our kids love, especially with these ice trays, because they'll like scoop it and then spread it in, and sometimes they'll take it into like a really dramatic play situation where they're baking for someone, and sometimes it's just about the sensory experience of just digging their hands in and covering their arms. Another thing, these were actually supposed to be like salad dressing transporters or something, but they are from silicone, and they've played with them before with putting the foam inside and then squirting it out. That was a definite hit. And we use an electric beater, so these go with the foam after we've made it, and they enjoy those. They always think they're ice cream. It's so funny. Hi, Nicole. Nice to see all of you here. And then also on the topic of ice cream, I think ice cream is like one of those things that just, it always interests children, right? Children are just drawn to ice cream. Rhonda, your one likes to help you make the foam. That's so fun. So I have like a whole bunch of little ice cream tools here. Let me see, like cones and things like this. There's just so much that if you just put out like 2 things like this with foam, there's so much that your child can do. And there's so many processes happening in the play, like that dramatic aspect, the motor aspect, the sensory aspect. So it's just really rich. If your child is older, I would say these are best for like around like maybe just a bit before 3, but these kind of eye droppers are also really fun for this. And then of course you need spoons, especially if your child has any kind of sensory sensitivity. We want to give them that option to not necessarily have to dive straight in. So spoons like ice cream scoops and things can be a great little addition to have there. But kind of any kitchen appliances or kitchen tools will go really, really well with this foam. So I wanted to talk a little bit about when are great times to use this foam. The first one, if you are a therapist or a teacher, I know there are many of you here that work with children, and foam is actually a really great one in terms of sensory play, because it's pretty easy to clean up, and it is in its nature clean because it's soap, right? So especially if you don't put any color with it, or if you're using a water-based color, it shouldn't leave any marks on the children's hands. It shouldn't leave any marks on their clothes. And it's one that's really easy and cost effective to kind of take. You can even take your like handheld mixer to school and do, it just takes a minute to put together. I've worked in some places where I had no room and like a desk and a ball, so this kind of option that you can actually not spend tons of money on like shaving cream or something like that. Just have something really quick and easy and cheap that you can take along, I think is really, really useful for people working in different sectors with children. It's also nice because it is clean, because it's soap. So I remember when I was working in a preschool, we always, when there was like a stomach bug that was like floating around, we would always bring out like the clean kind of sensory play, because everybody's hands were then getting like a good washing within the foam, and then a good washing after the foam. And also because the foam, you're only using half a cup of water and it makes a lot. It's not very liquidy. So you can also, if there's any liquid left, you can just strain that out. So then nobody's getting like super wet within the play. And whatever foam is there, they can just rub it off with a towel afterwards, or just wash their hands and it should come off. So that was about schools. Then if you are a parent, I found that this is a great one to bring out if your child has difficulty transitioning into the bath or to bath time. And even if they don't have difficulty, it's just like, it's a nice way to add sensory play into that rhythm. So it just feels very natural that your child now has like foamy hands that they then would get into the bath. And it can really help with that transition. We know toddlers and transitions, moving from one activity or place to the next activity or place, can be really challenging for them. It's quite a shift in their thinking, their stimulation levels, their cognitive abilities, as we're like moving them onto new things. So everywhere that we can build in that it would be a natural transition to move to the next place is really, really helpful for them and for us. So if you want to learn more about that in terms of like building the flow and having the rhythm of your days really meet their developmental needs, but also just work well in terms of like a family dynamic, then make sure that you've signed up to our webinar, which is on the last day of the conference on Friday. That's not going to be here on YouTube. It'll be inside Zoom, and it's going to be really, really fun. So make sure you signed up for that. And that is kind of it in terms of foam. Do you guys have any questions while we're here with regards to anything that's you've been thinking about during the conference, or anything with regards to sensory play or foam, or anything is totally welcome. I will also let you know that tomorrow we are going to be talking more about schematic play. So we've spoken about this a little bit. I've like touched on it in each of our webinars, but we're going to be really looking more at one of the schemas and how we can change the way we even present toys, like on a shelf or anything like that, to really like harness the schema that our children are working through, and how powerful schemas are in terms of children's development. It looks like there aren't any questions, so I'm going to leave it at that, short and sweet. Cindy, you enjoyed the session on neurodiversity. Yeah, Teva is amazing. I think she like covered that topic so well and so holistically. It was really, it was awesome speaking to her. Rhonda, thank you for being with me. I'm going to give you guys one more minute in case there's anything that crops up. I have a sip of my purple tea. I hope that you guys are all having a good day. I know Wednesdays are like that hump day, right? You always get a little bit tired on Wednesdays. And I know conferences are also very full, like getting through to all of the talks. So I just want to say also congratulations for all of you. Okay, wait, is this a question? Let's see. I work with many children with sensory preferences and aversions, and I love all the materials of different ways to incorporate sensory into play. Yeah, that's such a great point. And what we know also from research in terms of sensory is that we want things to be multi-sensory. That just like seems to get more bang for your buck in terms of developing more tolerance for sensory things. So we do want like that the foam and things, like it's not just something that happens like once in our children's life, and that we can add different things. Like if you look at then putting something like these kind of brushes, it's like it just adds another dimension to the sensory play. So I'm glad that it has helped, and thank you for the amazing work that you do with children with sensory preferences and aversions. I think I will leave it at that for tonight. So thank you all. And tomorrow we have another epic day. Tomorrow we actually have an additional speaker. So we have 6 speakers tomorrow, and some really wonderful topics. And I can't wait to hear more of how you've enjoyed today's topics, and those like light bulb moments that you had. So thanks everyone. Bye.